So when Homeland Security moves the way they did, that's one of the highest levels of the government. That costs a lot of money. Again, this is a tactical team that went in. These are the same niggas that went and got Osama. Like, this is that level of, tactics and force. And, we're talking about Diddy's houses with his kids. It's not like there were any violent crimes. It's not like there were, reports of it being grenades and guns and things like that.
Well, no, there was a lot of reports of Diddy having illegal guns everywhere.
Well, so, you can have guns in your home.
I think this was a little
illegal guns,
crazy and
not illegal, but
a lot of it was for show, of course. As
this is definitely be clear. This is definitely a show. This is definitely a show of force, a show of you're Diddy, but stay in your place. Like, you're not bigger than the program. You're not bigger than the system.
Okay, but what happens? Okay, I get all that. Like, what do you guys think? What's going to happen to Diddy? What is your prediction? Will he get arrested? What are the ramifications? Will he flee? Pull a Russell?
I don't think he'll flee. I don't think he'll flee. I do think he will be arrested. I do think that he will be brought up on some charges. But again, his lawyer released a statement saying that he is cooperating. He is not holding them from any part of their investigation. He's allowing them to search properties, do whatever,
I mean, he can't.
Judging by,
even if he wanted to, he couldn't.
To answer your question, direct, I would have to say, judging by the evidence that we know and the evidence that we can just speculate because they did this, I think Diddy's going to Sammy the Bull this entire thing. I think he's going to take the whole show down.
Well, I don't
think Puff is sitting in jail for the rest of his life. I think Puff has shown us that he's extremely selfish. I think he would tell you he's extremely selfish. I don't think Puff is not going to be around his kids. I think he's taken the whole business down with him if he has to go.
Well, that's the other side.
He's not going to be the fall guy for this.
This is the other side of this that I don't think people
are
realizing and touching on. Puff has he's in a position now where he can really take down a lot of people. A lot of powerful people.
It's the Epstein position.
Yeah, but then, okay, so if we're going to go that route, we've seen that whole Epstein thing play out, right? I think it's safe to say Epstein didn't kill himself. I don't think Epstein had that much morals and integrity where
I don't think he had any.
It was death before dishonor. Like,
he was going to be 10 toes.
He didn't have.
Now, Jesseline, whatever her name is.
Ghislaine.
I always fuck her name up. She's 10 toes. That might be the most solid bitch on earth.
She really is.
But, either way, this Diddy thing is going to be a lot bigger than I think people think. It looks. This is, like I said, I've never seen anything like the Michael Jackson thing was big. But again, I've never seen this though. I've never seen kids in handcuffs on the lawn. Like, this is like, oh shit. Like, they're not fucking around. They don't give a fuck about power, money, status. This is like, yo, crimes were committed here. Everybody get out. We're tearing through this house. We know what we're looking for. Because they went in there, they know what they were looking for. They were given information. They were told, this is here, that is there, this is where it's at. This is where you can find this. I believe they have everything. All the information they need. I think they just went to go get it for themselves. So now they have it in custody. And then now following that, yes, I do believe Puff will be brought up on charges and arrested. But to Rory's point, I don't think that Puff is going to allow himself to go down. If this was indeed a ring, like people are alluding to, if this was a bunch of other elites involved, I can't see Puff taking the blame or taking the fault for this on his own. I think that he will, again, like his lawyer said, cooperate with the investigation.
And we know Puff to be, one, extremely intelligent, two, one of the most ruthless business people that we've ever came across. I see a world where he has archived all this footage of his peers in compromising situations for blackmail purposes. And I think that's either going to bite him in the ass or maybe be his ticket to walk. I see a world where he does give everyone up. But I also see a world where he could have so much evidence against other people that they pull favor for favor for favor, and let's all just bury all of this. Let Puff do 6 months at one of the federal camps where they play tennis and give you ice cream, and then he's back in the streets. I see that option too.
I mean,
all the blackmail he has may actually be his ticket out of here.
Well, I mean, that's another way to look. There's a bunch of different ways to look at this thing. But, what does this mean for our culture? Because I feel like our culture is under attack as of right now. I feel like there's a lot of things that we're going to become privy to that's going to question our morals, question our beliefs.
Under attack, and what this is all self-induced.
Well, no, when I say under attack, meaning like depending on what footage they have and what and evidence that they have of what's been going on for however many years, I think that this definitely, if it's as bad as they're making it seem, this definitely puts a nasty stain on our culture, without a doubt. This is one of the biggest figures we've ever had in our culture.
Is it a stain or a light?
Yeah, honestly.
I mean,
no,
but if you look at everyone covering
it's how you look at it. Putting a light on it, exposing it. But now again, the information is what comes out of it. Who did what? Who was involved? If it's some people that we've looked up to and we've idolized and we've worked with, because we didn't even get to that part. People that we've worked with, people that we've, been next to and been in business with for years. If it comes out that they're doing some of these wild and crazy things that are being alleged, I think that changes a lot for the culture. That completely turns it on its ear. Like, whoa, so this is the things we've been hearing is real? Like the wild shit, the nasty shit, the abuse and all of that have been alleged over the years, the whispering. So it's real. I think that changes everything for our culture. Without a doubt. I don't think that there's any other way to look at it. Like, how can it not? These are people that we appointed. This is someone that we held up as one of our kings. This is Diddy we talking about, bro. This is not just some guy that just manages a couple artists and has had some good records. Like, this is a mogul. This is somebody that we've championed, somebody that we've looked to, as an example of the things and the places that we can go coming from where we come from. So for it to turn into something else that is now abuse and trafficking and people being, taken advantage of and women being, if it turns into that, how can it not change the culture?
What would change?
I think the way we look at people that are in certain positions change. I think the way that, I think the things that we consume changes.
How though?
Because I don't think that we are no longer attracted to some of the things that we've been attracted to, which like partying and drugs and drinking. And,
I don't think that's going to change.
I think that changes a lot. I think a lot of people look at all of that shit totally different. Like, nah, I'm not a part of that.
But I feel like the amount of rappers that have died of gun violence, nothing's changed as far as people's point of view on that. Like as a whole, I just think how hip hop is viewed now. If you look at all the news publications that have been covering this for the past week, they don't cover hip hop at all. Now, like, has my pops texted me about this Puff shit? Like, yo, were you ever at any of those parties? I'm like, no. But my dad doesn't hit me up about anything hip hop related. Mm-hmm. This is across the world now. Hip hop is being viewed as this. Now, that's why I said it changes. Yeah, I just don't think it's that crazy because as opposed to what culture? Politics has this stain.
Yeah, exactly.
Rock and roll has this stain.
Yeah, but that's not
Wall Street has this stain. Everything.
It
is our culture.
Politics is not our culture.
No, like hip hop and this is it. We're seeing what it is.
Yeah, but this is why I said it changes the culture. Because if that's
positive light was hip hop looked in before this, by the way. Like hip hop was killing each other.
Hip hop was looking it was looked at in a very positive light. If somebody that comes from the city and the streets that Diddy comes from, going to college, making his ways up in the ranks of the music business, turning that into fashion, turning that into lifestyle, selling all of the things that he sold. He made it real and tangible that, yo, I can come from the streets and I can become this figure that is at the top of the fucking culture, and I'm employing people. I'm making people's dreams come true. I'm signing people, artists, and of course it changes everything.
Were you saying from inside the culture or outside? Because outside, I don't think they've ever covered the positivity of Puff.
That's
at
what
all.
I'm talking about.
Now they're just covering the negative. Now, to your point, I think within the culture, yeah, Puff was 100% a representation of that in a positive light. Now things look a little crazy. But outside the culture, I don't know. People are always going to find any way to cover hip hop negatively.
That's what I, since the
Hip-hop
beginning.
has always, they've
Exactly.
always,
And now you
drugs,
even see how they've
violence,
tried to flip this of,
Jezebels.
attaching Puff to the Obamas, attaching him to the vote or die campaign. And
Well, anybody
now
that
he's a
ever-
Democratic pawn that
Anybody that he's
took
ever
kids from
been
Hillary,
in a
like,
photo
it's-
with or done business with,
Of course.
that's a higher person, a
on the
high level person is
conspiracy
going to be.
on the conspiracy tip. They say up next is your guy Jay. How do you guys feel about that?
that was
They've been
based
saying
off
they've been
nothing.
saying that Jay was up next for 16 years now.
But I'm just saying this is the.
they,
new
they also
outfit.
said Jay
I feel the
owns
same way.
an island, so you know what that means.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, man.
I feel the same way. They've been saying Jay and Beyonce have been up next for doing dirty shit for at least 16, 17 years now. But like I said, I think that anybody whose name is that associated to Puff and working that close to Puff, having a relationship with Puff over the years, I think everybody's name is gonna be thrown in. He's next, she's next.
Well, speaking into who's
Well,
next.
Al Sharpton is a rat. I don't know why they just don't go right after him. He'll tell it all.
Oh, huge rat.
Speaking of
I
who's
was
next,
standing right next to him at a Puff party. I was like, Al Sharpton's here? He was
so
probably
you
wearing a
just read
wire.
it. You just read it and telling that he's a
I'm sure there's a photo of Al Sharpton at that party I was at. There was Revolt cameras everywhere. Nothing was a secret.
Oh, it was one of those parties though. The camera safe.
Yeah, I think it was streaming live on Revolt. There was nothing happening at that party.
Carisha. If we're talking about up next.
Yo, imagine like making like out of the Miami streets. We've listened to City Girls. We know what they went through. JT's been to jail. Like they had a rough upbringing. Imagine finally getting out of that shit and getting popped for moving coke for Puff.
Now, when I saw that, what's the white kid, Paul? What's his name?
Oh, his drug mule.
Who used to play for?
Who was a shooter at Syracuse? That boy could play.
Yeah, that practice footage. He was balling. Like, he
Nice,
should have got
nice.
more minutes.
When I saw him in his mugshot,
Yeah, he took down the white boy.
I said, "Oh, this is he's giving it up in the back of the cop car."
See, I find that offensive and racist.
Fine, like I said, he's giving it up.
Why do you
back.
think he's giving it up?
Oh, that face! I know that face.
he looked a little scared.
That
I don't know. We stand 10 toes in Syracuse.
I was gonna say too.
We
You have to
stand-
think.
I know a bunch of rats in Syracuse.
You don't know
We stand
nobody.
10
I know a
toes.
bunch of rats in the Bronx.
That's
too.
a fact. I know facts. I'm not. There's rats everywhere. Let's be clear. That white nigga is giving up. Paul, what's his name? Brendan Paul, what's his name?
Paul.
Yeah, he has two first names. Brendan
Oh
Paul.
man, two first names. You know, Brendan.
yeah, yeah.
Brendan Paul ain't standing 10 toes. He in there talking about call my mom. It wasn't me.
That's my bag.
Yeah, definitely Julian's bag. Call
Yeah.
my mom. It wasn't
I'll
me.
make the joke.
Puff asked me to do it for him. Like
I don't know, man. Sometimes
I just wanted to be cool. I wanted to be around the culture.
Sometimes I feel like those
Oh,
type
he's from
of guys.
Seattle too. Oh, he's from Ohio.
Oh
Oh,
God,
this
he
white
might be
boy.
alright.
Come
Ohio
on.
might hold it down.
Brendan Paul's not holding anything down. I can tell you that
How
right
the
now.
fuck?
I-
I
Oh
would
my
like
God, he
to
went
know.
to Brewster Academy in New Hampshire. This guy is singing. He sang before they got there.
Okay, hear me out just quickly.
He's how Homeland Security got the info.
He opened the door.
Sometimes these guys that are not part of that world and get into it late are the guys that actually hold it down because they think this facade you have to not snitch.
Nah, he's
It's
cooked.
the people that have been in the game for 20 years that give it up in 2 fucking seconds.
Because they know
This
they
guy
worth
thinks
it.
he's living in a movie
I think he
and
averaged,
he's in Miami giving Puff coke. He probably is sitting there like, nah, I got to hold it down for Puff.
he averaged 0.1 points per game in his college career.
Yeah, for Skip Bayless numbers.
He's snitching.
He's snitching.
He has nothing to lose.
Took 5 shots
He does-
over the course of his college career.
He does-
He
Doesn't
was
give-
balling in practice though. That footage on Twitter,
You talking about practice?
I'm talking about practice.
I
Come on,
want to
practice.
know how he got from SCU basketball team into the position of being
Oh,
Diddy's coke.
Oh,
two
you gotta-
people have that doc by
Yeah.
next Wednesday.
Okay,
we'll
so
know
now-
everything about this
So
kid.
now let's put on our tinfoil hats.
And you got to keep a white boy close for the drugs. Like, if anybody's going to get jammed up with the drugs, Brendan Paul.
you know
He's
who else?
good.
You know who else keeps a white boy close? Homeland Security.
Mm-hmm.
Who is this white boy? Why was he allowed to just come into Puff's crib and start supplying drugs and pills and shit like
That's
that?
probably Puff's type.
Who is he?
Okay, but do you think he'll really? How much coke do you really think he was caught with? 1, 2, they really have actual evidence of. He may end up getting like a fucking misdemeanor where he wouldn't even need to snitch.
I'm not. No. If you
When they
think-
say drug mule, he was on a plane with a little bit of coke in his pocket, and they got him.
but you don't know how much
They've gotten more from TSA, and people haven't done time.
right. But you're over how much time though?
I don't think they were. I don't think this guy was supplying bricks. I just don't.
he don't have to be supplying bricks. I'm just saying, over how much time do you think? Okay, put an 8-ball in your bag right now and fly from JFK to LAX. And see what happens.
I mean, nothing really happens, honestly.
Yeah, nothing really happens.
Yeah?
Yeah.
They don't really be
that's
checking
what's
for
up.
8-balls like that.
That's what's up. No, but get caught with it. I'm not saying they checking for it.
Oh, get caught? Oh,
Get
that's a
caught
different
with it.
story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Get caught with it and see what happens. Let's just see what happens.
Because again, even like the formidable news spots just get little bits of police reports, and that is a fact, but then they run with it in the title. We don't know if this guy was Diddy's drug mule.
This is crazy.
He may have been around Puff and just got caught with some coke.
He started making beats during the pandemic, according to a Facebook post in 2020. And he eventually began, he started producing for the Love album.
Now I understand why that album was so good.
I keep telling people, who was that Little Rod dude? I've never heard of him before this.
I hadn't either. He
What
did
does
a
he
lot of
produce?
records on the Love album, though.
Before that,
I don't know.
these niggas is agents, man. Let's just go ahead and say it. These niggas is agents, bro. These niggas have been placed.
That's what they said about Tekashi, that the FBI taught him how to rap and
These
shit.
niggas have been placed around Puff.
Taught him how to rap.
That's a real conspiracy. That is a new strategy.
I don't think
that's been a strategy for a long time, that they are taking musically inclined people and placing them. That's the real industry plan.
So when I say the culture is under attack,
fire.
this is what I'm talking about. Who is these niggas? Who is Little Rod? Who is Brendan Paul? All of a sudden, these niggas got so close to Puff where they start supplying drugs and chicks and video and recording every. Who are these niggas?
No, Rory and